tool we want to talk to you about today is the guide part of the online toolkit. And I suppose what we've had from Sarah is we've had the business case calculator, which is based on the quantitative research we've done. We've also done this massive amount of qualitative research. And I think, Kevin, earlier did you say it was 255 interviews, at least an hour long, across 8 different businesses, large and small. And so what we've done is create a online version of the guide, but there's also a PDF to download as well. So it depends on how modern you're feeling. If you want to click through the website, that's fine. If you want to download a PDF and read it at your own leisure, that's fine as well. But one of the key features of this guide is saying, okay, you may be doing some of this already, you may have some expertise in this, but would you like to answer some questions, take yourself a quick diagnostic to see whether you are closer to the model of an organisation which has good practice going on within it, or are you closer to the model of an organisation which doesn't? And Mariana's just helping me out there answering some questions, because you get a sort of set of results at the end, which, you know, these are fairly informal. We're not taking this data, by the way. It's just for your own purposes. And it says, you know, your answers suggest you may have taken some action in this area. You still may benefit from reading this section of the guide, but actually you might want to focus on this section here. And the sections are called Aligned to Thrive, Proactive Approach, The Importance of Dialogue, Sharing the Load, and A Discerning Eye. And these basically take one aspect each that has come out of our extensive case study research in plain language and say, okay, from the start then, how do you build a business case? So the business case, if you want to align your business priorities and also your people priorities, how do you do that? And we talk you through that. Then proactive approach is saying, shifting your mindset towards saying we want to be preventative, we want to be active on this, we want to be really authentically engaging with this, rather than reactive to, oh no, we didn't have a policy on mental health, but now we're going to have to deal with it. So it's really setting yourself up to be able to do this well. Then we've got the importance of dialogue, which, as you saw from our Evolve little acrostic at the start, listening and talking is so important to these organisations which have good practice. And I would say that those people who are already doing really good work in the area of workplace wellbeing, if I talk to them, often I will say, okay, you know, I think what you're doing is amazing. How much worker participation have you got in your foresight for the future, what you might need? How much worker participation have you got in seeing if these things are actually what people want? And that's usually the area where even people who are doing quite well already say, yeah, that might be what we need to work on. So I'll point them towards that part of the guide. Then we've got sharing the load, which is involving lots of different people. So it's not just your core HR person trying to plough their own furrow. Yeah, not looking at anyone in the room. But, you know, that actually you have senior leaders on board with this. You have people who are wellbeing champions within your workforce at different levels. And so therefore at each layer there are people who are moving this agenda forwards. And then finally this idea of a discerning eye. So this is where I come back to the 5 principles that we talked about earlier. So at any point, however early or late you feel it is in your wellbeing journey, you can check your approach against these 5 principles, do a bit of self-reflective work as an organisation and say, okay, what do we need to do next? The guide is built in those sections. You can read through it from start to finish, you know, I would love to hear from you if you do. But you can also dip in and out, because we realise that this is not a linear process always. Sometimes it's about what you can do at the time with the senior support you've got. And you might need to return to it again at a later stage and add on an extra part or an extra process. But that's okay, as long as it's part of this evolving workplace wellbeing approach. So like I say, you can find that on the website either to click through the sections or to download as a full PDF. And the only other thing to say about that is there are lots of quotes and stories from our case study organisations in there. So again, our guide is really heavily reliant on the fact we've had fantastic participation from our case study organisations.